Thunder will be in Salt Lake City to play the Utah Jazz. Game time.
The fact that not only Kevin left, but it was to Golden State, did that make it sting even more?
Sting for who?
In 2016, it was year 8 of Durant and Westbrook's partnership, and it seemed like this was finally going to be their year. Under the new coach, Billy Donovan, who replaced the incompetent Scott Brooks, OKC finally started playing better basketball, utilizing the 1-3 pick and roll between Russ and KD. With the emergence of Stash Bros, Steven Adams, and Enes Kanter, plus the development of Serge Ibaka and emergence of Stash Bros, Steven Adams, and Enes Kanter.
KD doesn't own a brush. Shout out to KD, man, but he don't own a brush. He don't. I've never seen KD with the taper. I've never seen him with his hair brushed. I've never seen nothing. Nothing. Like nothing. He literally breathes and walks and loves basketball. And I respect that. But I really have never seen, have you seen him with the taper before?
Plus the development of Serge Ibaka and Andre Roberson, OKC finished the regular season with 55 wins and the second best offense.
They always winning. They never had. They only had one losing season
to be
really.
At an all-time high. And when KD was inducted into the Oklahoma Hall of Fame, he chose Westbrook to introduce him. A year earlier, at the 2014 ESPYs, Durant called Westbrook his favorite teammate. And when Mark Cuban called Russ an unwarranted superstar, KD replied,
"He's an idiot. Don't listen to this. He's an idiot." All right, that's what we got to say.
I remember that. I didn't know it was Mark Cuban who said that.
But still, it wasn't like the two superstars stopped fighting. After they defeated the Mavericks in the second round against San Antonio, Russ and KD entered a yelling match on the sideline after a missed defensive assignment. However, they quickly patched things.
I hate how they what's the name of this? Like, bro, this is the annoying part. You can't even talk, nigga. That is normal. But that's going to be in all the stories, all the headlines. That's what everybody going to talk about. Me and KD was arguing on the court. Me and Russ was arguing. Bro, it's basketball. They do that in literally 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade. That happens. But that's going to be the main thing y'all want to talk about, though. Over the W, over the game. I get it. I get it, interesting shit. You don't want to be black and white when it comes to this shit. I get it. But it's just sometimes it's like y'all want that over the shit. Y'all start off by talking about that versus the game plan, what happened in the game, all that other shit. A game winner could have happened, but you're gonna put way more energy into talking about me and my friend or teammate having an argument on the bench. Like, come on, bro.
And after 6 games, they defeated the Spurs and went to the conference finals, where they matched up against the best regular season team of all time. But against the 73-9 Warriors, it seemed like Russ and KD finally found their mojo as they took a commanding 3-1 lead in the series.
I did not expect Russell Westbrook to be this dominant, and he is. He reminds me of what Kobe Bryant once said about him when he said he's the only dude in the league with my DNA.
The Warriors won Game 5 at home, despite a combined 71 points from KD.
I never knew
Russ.
what that meant.
But in Game 6, it looked like OKC was heading towards another finals appearance when they took an 8-point lead in the 4th quarter. But then they fell apart. Even though this game will forever be remembered for Klay Thompson's hot shooting, who hit 11 threes, it was the Thunder's mistakes that cost them the game. OKC turned the ball over 6 times in the last 8 possessions, 4 times by Russ,
Westbrook stumbling, lost it.
and twice by KD.
Rebound Durant. And he lost it.
There was still Game 7.
Rebound Durant. And he lost it.
Trying to give it a Russ.
There was still Game 7, but after a disastrous 3rd quarter, where they got outscored 29-12, it was all over. And OKC became just the 10th team in NBA history to blow a 3-1 lead in the playoffs. OKC fell apart in the clutch.
When you really break it down, I don't think they choked. I think OKC wasn't as good as Golden State, and it ends there.
Terrible take. Nah, they choked. They choked. Golden State is Golden State, but they choked. They choked. They choked, bro. They choked.
No lead is safe with this team. So, when you have them down, Mr. Barker says you got to put your foot in your throat and take them out. OKC had that opportunity. They had them up 3-1, and they couldn't take care of business.
And with their downfall, the relationship between their two superstars fell apart too. Durant found it increasingly difficult to tolerate Westbrook's hero ball, and the fact that his great capabilities were often overshadowed by stubbornness, turnovers, and forcing tough shots against double teams. But it wasn't like it was all Westbrook's fault. One of the common misconceptions in basketball is that certain players cannot play together because there's only one ball. And while it's true that Durant, Westbrook, and Harden are all players who need the ball in their hands, the problem was that Oklahoma never had a proper offensive system. In fact, it didn't have anything resembling a system. They had a few well-coordinated plays that they rotated from year to year, and that was pretty much it. The offense mostly came down to changing the focal point. One possession focused on Russ, one on Durant, and the third on Harden when he was there.
Trusting in it. Keep trusting it. Yeah. Like you gotta be aggressive early, all right? Early. So if you get the rebound, be aggressive. Your threes are good. You're gonna hit your threes, but if you got layup opportunities, drive.
Towards the end of their run, when Scott Brooks was replaced by Billy Donovan, they developed the 1-3 pick and roll between Russ and KD. But if the action didn't go right at the start, they would quickly revert to iso ball. And between 2014 and 2016, OKC was last in the league in made passes. Oklahoma drafted the best players, but it did not fit them together well. The Thunder never found something like the triangle that helped Michael Jordan transform from his individual dominance into a winner. Nor did they develop the positionless motion offense that Eric Spoelstra used to enable LeBron, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh to win titles. A quality system will force great players to sacrifice both their egos and individual statistics, and it will reward that sacrifice with success. Oklahoma never did that. It cannot be said that the Thunder were not an efficient team, but their efficiency laid in the fact that no team could stop their superstars one-on-one and their ability to draw fouls. Lots and lots of fouls.
Somehow Durant lets it go.
From 2010 to 2016, Oklahoma finished in the top 3 in free throws made 4 times, and in the top 10 in all 7 seasons. OKC could dominate against teams over which it had an advantage in individual talent, which was the majority of teams in the league from 2010 to 2016. But when they ran into a team that could match their talents, there were problems. And while it's true that Westbrook was sometimes like a cow that gives 100 liters of milk and then suddenly goes wild.
Bro, this was like Russ. Well, I don't know what the even Curry asked him, bro, what are you doing? He said, I don't know. Like he literally just said, I don't know. I don't know what that was. This is probably the worst travel I've seen in it. Like, this is probably the worst travel.
Kicks the bucket and spills it all with unreasonable three-pointers early in the shot clock, forced isolations, and plenty of turnovers. But Russ also drew a ton of fouls, played a great pick and roll with Kevin Durant, found open teammates after drives, played decent on-ball defense, and took over games at key moments. Westbrook brought a much-needed dose of madness to OKC's stagnant offense. Since he himself didn't know what he was going to do next, neither did the defenses. So the Thunder could count on their best options not always being shut down. Even though KD was always the best player, Russ was the player who gave OKC the best chance to win a title. But after that title never came, because when Durant became a free agent in 2016, it was logical for him to move elsewhere. The biggest problem was that he moved to the worst possible team, the one that just defeated them in the playoffs.
And that was my only issue with it. If he just left OKC, he just leaves OKC. It was just, damn, the team that just beat you. Granted, he probably don't give a fuck what I gotta say. I'm still gonna say it. That was my only issue. Same thing with Bron. Bron, my guy. Bron would have went to the Warriors or the Celtics or some team that he lost. I'm like, Bron, what are you doing? You know, that's just what it is, man. And also, like I said, they were kind of blaming everything on Russ. I didn't like that. Russ been getting the fair share of the blame for a minute now. Sometimes it's deserved, not all the blame. Sometimes blame is deserved, but the 3-1 lead being blown against the Warriors ain't on just one player, bro.
And had the best regular season in NBA history, the Golden State Warriors. Just 1 week before he posted the infamous My Next Chapter letter on Players Tribune, Durant was sitting in a restaurant with Westbrook and Nick Collison, who both fully expected him to re-sign with the Thunder.
Great organization, great people around us, great town.
We've seen it be built from the beginning.
The logo just to me, just a sense of pride that you have when you put the jersey on.
But then KD stopped communicating with his teammates, and he only sent a short text message to Russ mere minutes before the world found out about his decision. And that's when it all turned sour.
The news again coming in moments ago, Kevin Durant heading to the Golden State Warriors. How are you viewing this move?
I woke up to this shit and I said, there's no way.
The weakest move I've ever seen from a superstar.
A couple of hours after Durant's decision was announced on July 4th, Russ posted a photo of some cupcakes with the caption, "Happy 4th, y'all." The photo was a clear message for Durant. When Kendrick Perkins played for the Thunder, he called teammates cupcake if he thought they were acting a little soft. So this was Russ taking a jab at KD, but it wouldn't be the only one.
I could have handled it to any other team but the Warriors.
And Kevin Durant, well, he's staying silent tonight on Twitter after the big announcement.
KD silent on Twitter? I never thought I'd see the day. Shout out KD,
Durant
man.
left for the Warriors, Westbrook signed his extension with the Thunder. He then also released a commercial for the Jordan brand with a tagline,
"Some run, some make runways,"
which was another clear shot at KD. But Durant didn't just stand pat and say nothing. In an interview with Rolling Stone magazine, he downplayed his and Russell's relationship, saying they were only work friends, despite calling him a brother and a family member just a few years back. "We had our own cliques that we hung with on the road. Russell had his guys, I had mine. It was never a bad thing, just how it was." After their first preseason game, KD talked about his new teammates in Golden State with praise. "I wanted to see if what I'd heard and what I'd seen on the outside is really true. Do these guys really genuinely love each other? They work together. You hear family a lot. That's just a word sometimes, but this is really a lifestyle here. You can feel it when you walk in the door, in the practice facility. Everybody is just together. I really feel grateful to play for a team like that and play with a bunch of players who are selfless and enjoy the game in its purest form." When Russ was asked about it, he added more fuel to the fire, and the beef was starting to cook really well.
What do you think about him saying that about Golden State?
That's cute, man. It's cute.
When the
Russ did not, bro. When Russ didn't care, Russ did not give a, bro. Russ was on, like you could tell, like bro, this like he wasn't fucking with KD after that. Like this nigga, like he really wasn't fucking with him after that. He didn't hold back in any interviews asked about it. He didn't go just saying shit just to say it. But anytime they ask a question, oh yeah, you know Russ gonna give you that answer. He don't care. He don't care.
NBA